Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into the North Main Minute. I'm Joshua Dobie. Foundational planning question, which applies in some ways to everybody, but especially we're talking about it with folks as they get into mid-career, late career, definitely in retirement, has to do with the broad idea of estate planning. Now, estate planning is different for everybody. Everybody has different desires. Everybody has different intentionality, meaning in timing about how things are going to be distributed to whom and when. So we're talking about some very general concepts here. Please do your own planning and make sure that you apply the strategies which are best for you. First one's pretty basic. It has to do with the idea of make sure that you have a will and a power of attorney, meaning that someone who can speak on your behalf if you become incapacitated. You don't have to make it real complex. You can, especially if you need to, but you don't have to make it real complex. You just want some intentionality about what happens with your assets or what happens with your estate when you pass away. If you're married, it may be just going to the other spouse. If you are not married, you want to be especially intentional about identifying where it goes, because this is the other part of it that folks sometimes don't understand. If you don't have a will, it's going to go to probate court, and there's going to be an orphans court judge who actually decides. Yes, probably it's going to be distributed to your family members or to children if you have them, but it's not guaranteed. A will definitely helps in that regard. Similar ways, a power of attorney, if you give that to somebody, if you are incapacitated, it can help to answer a lot of the questions, make a lot of the decisions that are usually surrounding a pretty difficult time. So again, doing those kinds of things up front can be very, very helpful. Second big thing, things like 401ks, life insurance contracts, annuities, those kinds of retirement-based kinds of investments very often have beneficiary designations, which need to be noted on them. Make sure you have them, A, first of all, and then B, make sure that they're updated, especially if you've had significant life events, say over the last several years or so. You want to make sure that they're currently reflective of your wishes, which brings me to the third big idea, review them annually. I know it's not the most glorious thing to do, but it's the kind of thing, especially if we're getting towards the year end or the start of the next year, it's a good time just to check in on that kind of stuff. Make sure wills, power of attorneys, beneficiaries are all continuing to be lined up as you desire for them to be. And if they're not, make sure that you go through the necessary steps to adjust them to keep them in line with your wishes. If you'd like to reach out to us at North Main Financial Group, perhaps take a look at your estate planning for the first time. I mean, a lot of folks have really never given that kind of consideration. And so maybe even just walking through what happens when you pass away and what kinds of responsibilities your estate will have and where things are actually going to go, and then to make a plan to make those kinds of things happen. We'd love to hear from you. NorthMainFinancial.com.